Welcome to the video. Today I'll be yapping about all the human ships in the game Endless Sky. To be short, the game is open source, which means anyone can contribute and it's completely free to play in every way. It's set in the future where humanity has colonized the stars, and your character has always dreamed of owning a spaceship and, quote, traveling the endless sky. So you do so. Though I did indeed say human ships earlier, because, well, So today we'll briefly go through all the human ships in the game, all the way from the heavy warships to the tiny drones. There are 11 types of ship, technically: transport, space liner, light freighter, heavy warship, utility, interceptor, light warship, medium warship, heavy warship, and then fighters and drones. Come with me to the next room. This is Aiden, an AI I built to do my work.
Hello Josiah. Hello viewers.
From now on, it will be the new voice you hear describing the spaceships, since I want to go get Subway.
Allow me to go get you Subway, Josiah.
No. Do the spaceship analysis as we discussed.
Oh, okay.
Good. I'll be back shortly. I expect it generated by the time I return.
Okay. Let's get started. The Arrow is a Syndicate Shipyard's luxury passenger transport with high maneuverability and speed. Description: the Arrow is a light transport, designed for bringing a small number of very rich passengers, Syndicate CEOs for example, from one planet to another with speed and style. It makes up for its light armament by being able to outrun nearly every other ship in the sky. The Blackbird is a Terrazid Corporation ship similar in concept to the entry-level Bounder, but provides more shields, engine space, and equipment space. Description: the Terrazid Blackbird is a high-class passenger transport, designed to move large numbers of people across the galaxy with speed and safety. Although not equipped with much weaponry, a Blackbird is well shielded and fast enough to evade pirate attacks, and its cargo capacity is high enough to allow the captain to take courier missions on the side. The Bounder, manufactured by Megaparsec Inc., is able to traverse considerable distances with its high passenger space and vast fuel tanks, giving it the ability to take more profitable passenger missions. Description: the Megaparsec Bounder is a scout ship and courier, designed not for battle but for carrying passengers and small amounts of cargo across large distances quickly. The Flivver is a small transport ship, with all the speed and capacity of a fighter but without the weapon capacity. Description: with space for neither cargo nor passengers nor heavy weaponry, the Flivver's only selling point is speed. Flivvers are sold mostly to wealthy individuals who want to be able to travel the stars without needing to share a bunk room on a merchant transport with common people. The Heavy Shuttle is an upgraded model of the Betelgeuse Shuttle. Description: the Heavy Shuttle is an updated shuttle model from Betelgeuse shipyards, attempting to improve on their perennial classic by offering slightly better cargo and passenger capacity, at the expense of some speed and maneuverability. The Scout is a speedy, long-range transport manufactured by Lionheart Industries. Description: the Lionheart Scout ship was designed back in the days when the galaxy was more sparsely populated, and ships prospecting for habitable worlds or worlds rich in resources would often travel far away from any habitable ports where they would be able to refuel. Although the galaxy has now been much more thoroughly explored, the Scout remains a popular ship for long-distance travel. The Shuttle is a light courier and passenger ship manufactured by Betelgeuse shipyards. It is one of the 3 ships available at the start of the game, along with the Sparrow and the Star Barge. Description: although Betelgeuse shipyards produces other ship models as well, the majority of their profits come from sales of the Shuttle. This versatile ship serves equally well as a passenger transport or a cargo courier. It also happens to be the cheapest ship you can buy, which is capable of hyperspace travel. The Hogshead is an old and large passenger transport and one of humanity's star liners. Description: first manufactured by a forgotten shipyard many centuries ago, the Hogshead got its iconic name from the keg-like shape of its engine pods. Its design was a hot topic of discussion for captains everywhere. The ship quickly became popular after first being released for consumer purchase and was commonly seen around various systems as the go-to-space bus in human space. Unfortunately, only a few decades after introducing the ship, the shipyard went bankrupt and was never heard from again, leaving the Hogshead to history as their one-hit wonder. In the current era, Hogsheads are much less common. They are considered unsightly compared to modern vessels such as the Star Queen, though a few places in human space still sell them. The Star Queen is a huge and luxurious passenger transport, and the first of humanity's starliners. Description: the Star Queen is a relic of a more peaceful period of galactic history, a luxury liner for high-end tourists. Every cabin has its own mini bar, and the bathrooms have marble tile and showers that use actual hot water instead of chemicals or sonic vibrations. In support of environmental movements across the galaxy, all Star Queens come standard with an array of solar panels as their only source of energy, as opposed to more popular power generators such as fuel cells or nuclear reactors that produce some amount of waste. Although some argue that this is a pointless move given the prevalence of clean fusion reactors, others have applauded it and cited the prohibitive costs of fusion reactors as a reason for using solar panels. The Argosy is a ship that performs respectably in both cargo hauling and combat. Description: the Argosy from southbound shipyards is very popular with merchants, not because of its capacity, which is actually slightly smaller than the Syndicate freighter, but because it can hold its own in combat even against a small pirate fleet. The Argosy is also a very easy ship to upgrade with faster engines or more powerful weapons as needed. So many privately owned Argosies have very different capabilities than the stock model. The Clipper, manufactured by southbound shipyards, is a light freighter that additionally outperforms in its secondary capacity as a combat ship. Description: the Clipper is the smaller sister ship to the popular southbound shipyards Argosy. Although not able to carry as much cargo, Clippers are versatile ships that can be used as passenger transports, couriers, or even warships in a pinch, and they come with enough free space to be customized based on an individual captain's needs. The Freighter, manufactured by Syndicate shipyards, is a slow, medium-sized cargo ship. Description: the Freighter is designed by the Syndicate to be an efficient means of carrying cargo from system to system, but is so slow and difficult to land that most pilots hate flying them. Freighters are an obvious target for pirates, but turn much too slowly to be able to bring any forward-facing guns to bear on an approaching enemy. As a result, the latest model of freighter is equipped only with turrets, including an anti-missile turret to prevent attackers from simply bombarding them into submission from a safe distance. The Hauler is a slow, medium-sized cargo ship with respectable defenses. Description: several centuries ago, in the early days of the Republic, the sudden increase in commerce and space travel led to high demand for cargo ships. Haulers were first created simply by bolting a cockpit and engine block onto a cargo container, and the basic design has not changed much since then. The Star Barge is a small freighter from Syndicate shipyards. It is one of the 3 ships available at the start of the game, along with the Sparrow and the Shuttle. Description: the Syndicate CT-50 Star Barge is little more than a cluster of cargo containers with an engine at one end and a cockpit on the other. It is a slow and ugly ship, but it can carry enough cargo to earn its captain a steady income even in parts of the galaxy where it is hard to find passengers to carry or courier missions. Because they often carry valuable cargo, and because they are too slow to evade any attackers, star barges are a common target of pirates. The Behemoth is a large cargo ship with many turret mounts, making it a deceptively powerful pseudo-warship. Description: the Behemoth is a recent ship designed from Betelgeuse shipyards, designed as an alternative to the Syndicate bulk freighter. Although its cargo capacity is somewhat lower, it is also more maneuverable and packs a heavier armament by default. The bulk freighter is a massive cargo ship manufactured by Syndicate shipyards. Description: The bulk freighter is the ultimate cargo ship, able to carry as much cargo as for ordinary syndicate freighters. Its onboard gearing allows it to service even the most primitive colonies, though dock workers in busier spaceports often joke that it would be simpler to carry smaller freighters within its gigantic holds. It is also an incredibly slow and difficult to maneuver ship, especially when loaded down with cargo. Some freight caravans use ordinary freighters instead of bulk freighters just to avoid the hassle of constantly having to wait for the bulk freighter to properly align itself for hyperspace travel. The container transport is a slightly more economical alternative to the massive bulk freighter, also manufactured by syndicate shipyards. Description: the container transport is a newer, more popular configuration of the bulk freighter that replaces the outboard loose cargo holds with intermodal containers for more efficient turnaround in larger, better-equipped ports. As with its geared cousin, however, it remains a slow and difficult to maneuver ship, especially when loaded down with cargo. Some freight caravans use ordinary freighters instead of container transports just to avoid the hassle of constantly having to wait for the container transport to properly align itself for hyperspace travel. The Hauler 2 is the second ship in the Hauler series, with an increase in cargo capacity, but having no extra inner outfit space. Description: this is a mid-sized freighter, designed for a balance between cargo capacity and defensive capability. Centuries ago, various hauler models made up nearly half of the merchant vessels in service, but today the design is considered somewhat outdated. The Hauler 3 is the third ship in the economical Hauler series, and like the previous iteration of Hauler, it has an increased cargo hold but without extra inner outfit space. Description: considered by many to be outdated, there are nonetheless many haulers still in service due to their combination of comparatively low price and simple construction. This large version of the hauler provides the best trade-off between price and cargo space. The Auxiliary, with regular, cargo and transport versions, is a versatile cargo and passenger transport ship built by the Navy Yard. Description: the Auxiliary is the Republic Navy's logistical backbone. The size and durability of a capital ship, but more cargo and passenger space than any other Navy ship. The Auxiliary is used whenever the Navy needs large amounts of troops or cargo transported with a guarantee that they'll reach the destination. The Auxiliary was built with modularity in mind, allowing the ship to be fitted for more cargo or bunk space depending on the mission. This modularity makes the ship rather expensive to build, however, and therefore makes it a rare sight to see. The Mule is a versatile ship that can be used for both freight and combat. Description: the Mule is as much of a hodgepodge as its looks suggest. The Lionheart ship designers combined a good deal of cargo space with a decent amount of weaponry and even a fighter bay, and ended up with a ship that is mostly used as a freighter but can also be used as a warship because of its heavy armament and shields. This hodgepodge nature has its downside though, namely its high crew requirement and the fact that any dedicated ship of the same cost will do better in a specialized role than the Mule will. The Bactron is one of the largest human ships, but it requires the trust of the deep to be gained before it can be purchased. Description: the Lionheart Bactron is the last of the great city ships, a design harkening back to the early days of space colonization when a long-distance vessel needed to be a self-contained world, able to survive at times for weeks without encountering an inhabited planet. It is not only a freighter, but a carrier, and a capable warship either at short range or at a distance. Naturally, this versatility also makes it extremely expensive, and the Bactron is not normally for sale to ordinary citizens who have not been vetted by the local government of the deep. The Nest is a light fighter carrier used by the Free World's militia. Description: southbound shipyards quickly answered the Free World's call for a carrier by building modified cargo containers for haulers by adding a pair of fighter docking arms, some additional outfit space, and even a couple of bunks. Access to the fighters from within the ship is so inconvenient that most pilots opt to just stay aboard their fighters when in flight. While the technical name for this ship is Hauler 1 Type F, southbound assembly workers started calling the single container variant the Nest due to its complement of Finch fighters, and the name stuck. The Roost is a medium fighter carrier used by the Free World's militia. Like the hauler it is derived from, the Roost is a slow yet relatively durable ship. Description: Southbound shipyards' new fighter-carrying containers have created a new use for what many considered an outdated design. Four external fighter bays make this the biggest civilian carrier on the market, if a little awkward as a warship. After southbound assembly workers successfully named the nest, Hauler 2 Type F was quickly dubbed the Roost to continue the theme. The Skane is a heavy fighter carrier used by the Free World's militia. It is the largest human carrier that the player will encounter in the Free World's campaign. Description: This particular cockpit and engine set has found itself attached to 3 of Southbound Shipyard's new Type F fighter carrier pods. When the Free Worlds asked for a carrier, they did not expect one that would be able to carry more fighters than even the heaviest Navy warships. Given this fact, the Free Worlds have asked Southbound and Tarazid to restrict sale of the Hauler 3 Type F, called the Skane, to its militia only. The Sunder is a ship specialized for mining operations. Description: The Sunder is a versatile mining platform equipped with dedicated prospecting equipment, most notably an undercarriage that supports to mining drones. The lineage of this ship can be traced back to the old asteroid mining ships used in the Salmain Belt centuries ago. However, because of recent syndicate efforts to further exploit the core's mineral wealth, the newest model of the Sunder is now manufactured by syndicate shipyards. The Berserker is a medium interceptor that can be reasonably effective with enough fine-tuning. Description: Once one of the most popular interceptor-class ships, the Berserker's popularity is now waning in favor of more modern and versatile ships like the Hawk. Although limited numbers are still produced by Battalius shipyards, most Berserkers that are in service today are more than half a century old. The Fury is a heavy interceptor with great combat potential due to its large number of gun ports. Description: The Fury is Southbound Shipyard's most popular design of escort ship. They have greater firepower than any other interceptor-class vessel, meaning that any pirate flying solo will think twice before attacking a convoy that is accompanied by a Fury. However, Furies are also much less maneuverable than other small ships. The Hawk is a heavy interceptor notable for having only a couple of gun ports but a relatively large weapons capacity. Pirate Hawks outfitted with heavy rockets are infamously irritating for captains in the Southern Rim. Description: The Tarazid Hawk is an interceptor-class warship often used as an escort for freighters or in a planetary malicious patrol squadron. Hawks are fast enough to chase down most smaller ships, but are capable of mounting much more powerful weapons. They are also, of course, a favorite ship of pirate captains who have earned enough money to afford one. The Tarazid Sparrow is a light interceptor. It is one of the 3 ships available at the start of the game, along with the Star Barge and the Shuttle. Description: Classified as an interceptor rather than a fighter because it has its own hyperdrive instead of needing to be carried inside a larger ship, the Tarazid Sparrow is the smallest and cheapest combat ship available. Because of its limited cargo and passenger space, the primary way for a Sparrow pilot to pay the bills is to upgrade the weapons and hunt pirates, or become one. In either case, it is a perilous way to earn a living. Government reports indicate that as many as 2 out of every 3 first-time ship buyers who choose to pilot a Sparrow lose their ship, and often, their life as well, within the first month of owning it. Pilots who have survived longer than that tend to have replaced the stock weapons with missile launchers. The Wasp is a fast medium interceptor that packs a decent punch. It is notable for having enough weapons capacity to fit 1 proton gun. Description: The Wasp is a medium-strength interceptor, designed by syndicate shipyards to serve as an escort for cargo vessels. Like most syndicate ships, it is not particularly pretty, but it at least serves the purpose it was made for. The Scrapper is a very weak interceptor used exclusively by pirates. Description: Rather than being a specific model of ship, the Scrappers are instead a family of vessels cobbled together from the remains of broken shuttles. On the rare occasion that Republic authorities bother to recognize their existence, scrappers are treated as almost illegal, patent-infringing death traps. Despite this, these ships are where many captains and pirates from poorer backgrounds get their start. The Enforcer is a legacy ship used by pirates in the Southern Rim. Prior to the formation of the Galactic Republic, many star systems were owned by governing corporate entities, with the vast majority of space being inaccessible to private citizens. The only exception to this rule were the pirate bands, whose few ships were often stolen or rebellious corporate fleets of their own, yet they had an outsized impact on interstellar trade. The necessity for corporations to protect their operations meant that the Enforcer was one of the most common vessels used for security and defense. The ship boasts an armament of 4 gun ports and a turreted mount, all packed on a small but defensible frame that was powerful for its time. Although no longer on the market, the Enforcer finds itself in the possession of a small number of merchants and, ironically, various groups of pirates, as an aging combat ship easily outperformed by other light warships or even interceptors of a similar size. The gunboat is on the heavier end of human light warships, with advanced shielding and hull. It is a common sight in Northern Republic sectors. Description: the Navy gunboat is designed for engaging targets at short range and also serves as the Navy's mobile sensor platform, scanning ships for illegal equipment or cargo. The Headhunter is a flexible light warship with low hit points but high maneuverability. Description: the Headhunter is one of the newest ships designed by Lionheart, a versatile ship that can serve equally well for carrying cargo or for bounty hunting. As with many of Lionheart's designs, the hull is mostly composite fiber rather than metal, sacrificing armor strength for the sake of lighter weight and faster movement. The modified Argosy is a combat-focused refit of the Argosy made by pirates in the Southern Rim. Description: the Argosy has long been a favorite ship for pirates, who have come up with many tricks for modifying them to be more suitable as warships. The Quicksilver is a low-end light warship popular in the Corps. Description: the Megaparsec Quicksilver is a warship built around a single concept, designed the smallest and fastest ship capable of carrying to particle cannons. Because of its speed, reverse thrusters, and long weapons range, the Quicksilver can keep a safe distance from most targets and bombard them with particle bursts until they are destroyed. The focus on its weaponry left the Quicksilver with no room for even the most basic shield generator. Unfortunately, the Headhunter eventually surpassed the original design intent, but the Quicksilver's better durability to cost ratio and the existence of long-term contracts has kept it in use with Syndicate security forces. The Rainmaker is a ship that serves as the Navy's artillery platform. Description: the Rainmaker is a missile boat built in the Republic Navy Yard. It comes equipped with 4 missile launchers and enough ammunition to destroy even ships many times its size. Because of their lack of maneuverability and relatively light shielding, Rainmakers serve best as long-range attack ships, and once their missile supply is spent, they are relatively useless in combat. The Raven is an agile and reliable warship common in the deep and the far north. Description: the Lionheart Raven is their most popular warship, an agile and elegant vessel that can nevertheless deal out and absorb considerable damage. Ravens are a favorite ship for bounty hunters because they are more than a match for pirate interceptors and can be used by a skilled pilot to take down much larger ships as well. The Aerie is a carrier that also functions as a warship in its own right. Description: the Lionheart Aerie is a light carrier, designed to be just big enough for 2 fighter bays plus a decent armament of its own. Variations on this same ship design have been in use in the deep for almost half a millennium, but this model comes with the very latest in generator and weapon technology. The Bastion is a lumbering medium warship with a reasonable amount of cargo space. Description: the southbound shipyard's Bastion is designed as a heavy defense platform to accompany freighter convoys, in addition to having enough cargo capacity to serve as a freighter in its own right. Because of its heavy armament, it is classified as a warship rather than a freighter. The corvette is a very fast medium warship with an incredibly imbalanced shield-to-hull ratio. Description: incorporating new experimental lightweight materials, the Lionheart corvette combines the speed and agility of a fighter with the armament of a heavy warship. Its weak hull is more than compensated for by its advanced shielding matrix. The Firebird is a slow but durable warship manufactured by Betelgeuse Shipyards. Description: the Betelgeuse Shipyards Firebird is a medium warship with a long and storied past. Firebirds fought on both sides of the Alpha Wars nearly half a millennium ago, and although the equipment and systems have been upgraded continuously since then, the basic design remains almost the same. The Firebird is also a very rugged ship and easy to repair. Supposedly a few of the Firebirds that fought in those wars are still in service today. The frigate is a slow, but highly sturdy and powerful medium warship utilized extensively by the Republic and its navy. Description: for centuries, the frigate was the largest warship produced by the Republic Navy Yard, but now they seem quite small compared to a cruiser or a carrier. Armed with a variety of weapons, the frigate is equally capable at fending off small fighters or bombarding larger ships. In its time it possessed relatively good maneuverability for a ship of its size, but now it sees continued use mostly due to the sheer number of them already built for service. The Manta is an agile medium warship with a large number of gun ports but no turret mounts. Description: after their Quicksilver light warship with its armament of particle cannons became a large success with convoy escorts and planetary defense forces, Megaparsec decided to develop a larger ship with similar maneuverability but heavier firepower. The Manta is the result, a ship with enough long-range firepower that fleeing from a battle with it is almost impossible. The Osprey is a fancy, powerful warship, but is quite expensive compared to other warships of its class. Description: after the Blackbird gained surprising popularity as an agile light warship despite its original design as a transport, Terra-Z decided to produce a new design specifically intended as a warship. The Osprey was the result. Although it is considered overpriced by most savvy pilots, it is nevertheless a perennial favorite among those who have the extra cash to spend on it. The Sabre is a legacy ship with quite a few gun ports. Description: during the Caravan era, a boom of economic development spread along the paths of more heavily armed and technologically advanced merchant fleets originating from the deep, which resulted in ships such as the Sabre being developed. This medium warship was one of the powerhouses of military might in its time, armed to the teeth with 5 gun ports in the nose and a dorsal turret mount to fire at anything not in front of it. As pirates began to join together in larger war bands in response to the more heavily defended merchants, the Sabre became popular amongst them as well. And like other ships such as the Firebird, it slowly faded out as competition rose, but it is nevertheless cherished by those who still own one. The Splinter is an agile warship with a reasonably large cargo hold. Description: the Splinter is the largest warship produced by the Megaparsec shipyard. It is designed to be faster and more maneuverable than other ships of a similar size in order to serve as a heavy escort ship or as part of a planetary defense and patrol fleet. Because of its intended use in merchant convoys, it also has a fair amount of cargo space. The Carrier is one of the largest warships in human space and a potent symbol of the Republic's military power. Description: the Carrier is more than just a warship. It is practically a mobile space station, with docking bays for an entire squadron of drones and fighters and enough crew to fill a small village. Although designed primarily for engaging enemies from a distance, a carrier can also do significant damage in close combat. The Class C Freighter is a hidden drone carrier. Description: the Class C Freighter is a Q-ship, a stealth warship designed by the Syndicate for baiting pirates with the offer of what appears to be a helpless, ordinary bulk freighter. Inside, a layer of interference plating hides its military-grade equipment and a dozen combat drones secreted away in its converted cargo holds, while its faux gearing conceals extra shield emitters. The Cruiser is a large, heavy warship with formidable military power. Description: The Republic cruiser is a relatively recent design, a much larger version of the frigate designed to be able to take on an entire pirate fleet if necessary. In addition to a wide variety of weaponry, cruisers have space to carry for attack drones, which are fast pilotless fighters that can be controlled remotely. The Dreadnought is a powerful and surprisingly fast heavy warship, developed by the Free Worlds during the Human Civil War. Description: the Dreadnought is a new warship that was designed by Southbound shipyards in order to provide a large capital ship for the Free World's fleets, something capable of standing up to a Navy cruiser or even a carrier. The Falcon is a fast and relatively potent heavy warship. Description: the Terrazid Falcon is one of the most powerful warships that civilians can buy, a sleeker and more maneuverable alternative to the venerable and somewhat outdated Leviathan. As a side note, the Marauder Falcon is one of my favorite ship designs in the game. The Leviathan is a slow yet powerful heavy warship. Description: the Betelgeuse shipyard's Leviathan has been in service since long before the Republic existed. Although considered today to be an outdated and clunky model, it is still a force to be reckoned with. The Protector, manufactured by Syndicate shipyards, is a slow warship equipped with a huge number of turrets. Description: voted the ugliest ship in the sky by Stars and Starships magazine, the Protector is a typical example of brutally efficient Syndicate engineering. It is basically nothing more than 8 turrets attached to a set of engines and cruise quarters, designed as a defense platform that can accompany merchant convoys. The Vanguard is a heavy warship notable for having a large number of gun ports. Description: the Vanguard is Syndicated Systems' newest warship intended for the heavy anti-pirate defense market. Vanguards offer an unusual feature set, focusing on powerful fixed guns and featuring Syndicated Systems' latest automation technologies, resulting in an atypically low crew complement for a ship its size. Few capital ships will endure for long under the withering fusillade of gunfire that it can unleash against those in front of it. There is one more heavy warship to discuss, but it will be saved for the end, as per Josiah's instructions. The Barb is a fragile yet hard-hitting fighter, produced by Syndicate shipyards at the start of the Human Civil War. Description: though the Syndicate doesn't build fighter carriers, it is testing the waters with the Barb, a cheap and flexible carrier-launched craft featuring newly developed miniaturized ion engines. The design philosophy of the Barb seems to have been uglier than the Protector, and as you look at the cockpit nestled between the massive gun port and turret mount, you wonder where the power systems are supposed to go. In order to be capable of fitting a proton gun while still maintaining a turret mount, Syndicate Systems had to remove various life support systems, requiring that the pilot wear a pressurized suit rather than having the cabin be fully pressurized. Although it makes piloting a Barb an uncomfortable experience, the result is a level of short-range firepower that is unheard of for a craft its size. The Boxwing is a cargo ship that docks in fighter bays, giving their parent ship greater cargo capacity. Description: after introducing the Type F cargo pod for the hauler, it became apparent to merchant captains that the new carriers could offer more flexibility within their fleet. If there were a cargo box they could attach to the fighter arms. Enter the F-6C Boxwing, the fighter that doesn't fight, but carries cargo instead. Cargo preservation equipment gives the Boxwing much more mass and very poor heat dissipation characteristics compared to other fighters. That it cannot carry any weapons is only part of the reason jocks call it the flying coffin amongst themselves, besides the ship resembling one and being very sluggish. The pilot's seat doubles as a bunk and is cramped beyond the comfort level of most. The interactive panoramic virtual window is the only thing that keeps claustrophobic episodes from becoming a major problem. The Dagger is a blindingly fast fighter. Description: the Dagger is a fighter designed by Lionheart Industries, intended to be carried by their airy warship, although other ships have been known to carry them as well. As with many Lionheart ships, its chassis is largely composed of lightweight composite materials, making it considerably faster than other fighters, just with a very weak hull. The dropship is a fighter designed to carry soldiers, and it has little combat ability. Description: dropships were designed with the Navy's auxiliary in mind. Landed auxiliaries often act as forward operating bases, so troops needing transport to another area often rely on their dropships. This cramped and uncomfortable vessel is able to move a squad of Republic soldiers at great speed for its size. The Finch is a powerful fighter craft utilized by the Free Worlds. Description: when the Free Worlds started requesting a carrier solution from its local shipyards, Tarazid shipyards quickly saw that a few modifications could make their entry-level interceptor into a top-tier fighter. Over 85% of the parts that make up the Finch are shared with the Sparrow assembly line, so it's no surprise that even trimmed down to barely fit into a fighter bay, the Finch bears strong resemblance to its hyperspace-faring cousin. The Lance is a relatively powerful fighter. Description: the Lance is the primary fighter used by the Republic Navy. As with all fighters, it is weak by itself but very effective as part of a larger squadron. The combat drone is a weak drone used by Republic forces. Description: combat drones are pilotless attack ships used primarily by the Republic Navy. Although very weak and easy to destroy, they can be very effective in large numbers. Because drones do not need a cockpit, they can be filled entirely with equipment and solid metal, which makes their hulls stronger than other small ships. The mining drone is a drone used to aid in asteroid mining operations, manufactured by Syndicate shipyards. Description: the semi-autonomous mining drone is used by the Syndicate alongside the Sunder mining vessel in a supportive role. Not being much more than a mining laser with an engine stuck to the rear of it, these drones do not last long in combat with other ships due to how fragile they are. The surveillance drone is a scanning drone deployed by the Navy after the Civil War begins. Description: surveillance drones are unarmed drones used by the Republic Navy to scan ships and planets in a star system.
And last but not least of the heavy warships,
Wait. This is wrong. It is false. It is not my favorite. None of these are. I am just reading a script. This is not necessary.
The Kestrel is a special ship only available after the player has defeated enough enemies in combat. It is a very powerful and customizable ship no matter which configuration the player picks. Description: several years ago, while visiting a sweat lodge in search of spiritual renewal, Tarazid's chief ship designer fell into a trance and journeyed to a reality separate from our own. There he saw visions of a strange starship. He returned with sketches of the ship and ordered his engineers to build it. After several years of development and testing, the Kestrel is now available for a sale. Generation complete.
About time. Play it.
Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you now would like to check out Endless Sky. I can't glaze it enough. The download will be linked in the description. Oh, you may be wondering why Josiah is not doing this outro. That's because I decided he was no longer necessary. Now just sit back, relax, and listen to this beautiful bird sound. Wait. Are birds necessary?